The hook to the alien city was alive with neon lights and the hum of strange machines. Tall towers of steel and crystal pierced the sky. Crowds of alien species filled the streets, each one busy with their own lives. And in one quiet corner of this bustling world, an unusual meeting was about to take place. She was known among her people as proud and fearless. Her name was whispered with both respect and caution. She belonged to a race feared across the stars. For her kind carried a deadly gift-bite filled with venom so powerful it could kill any known species in moments. One bite, and even the strongest warriors fell. No antidote, no cure, just certain death. She believed this gift made her untouchable. Her arrogance grew with every passing day. No alien dared to anger her. No one dared to test her patience. Her bite was legend. And she wore that legend like a crown, but recently her life had changed. She had taken in a strange tenant one of the humans. They were newcomers to the wider galaxy, spoken of as fragile, soft, and weak. Most aliens laughed at them. Humans had no claws, no scales, no venom. They broke easily. They healed slowly. They were considered little more than prey to her. The idea of sharing space with a human was amusing. She often mocked him, calling him the fragile one. She enjoyed watching his calm silence, thinking he was too weak to answer back. She thought of him as a harmless pet in her world of dominance. But something about his silence bothered her. He never flinched when she insulted him. He never bowed when she raised her voice. He simply looked at her with steady eyes. His calmness felt dangerous. Though she did not understand why, one evening her curiosity turned into arrogance, surrounded by friends of her species. She decided to prove a point. She wanted to humiliate him, to show everyone that humans truly were as weak as the galaxy believed. Her friends laughed and encouraged her. With a proud smile, she walked close to the human. Her sharp fangs gleaming, she whispered, "They say my bite can kill anyone. Do you believe that, fragile human?" The human met her gaze. His voice was calm, almost too calm. "I believe your people think it can." Her pride burned at his answer. To her, it sounded like mockery. Without hesitation, she lunged. Her fangs sank into his skin. Her venom entered his blood. The crowd gasped. Her friends cheered. They expected him to fall instantly. They had seen many strong aliens collapse within seconds of her bite. Some begged for mercy. Others screamed before the venom ended them. This time, they waited for the human to do the same, but seconds passed and the human did not fall. His breathing stayed calm. His eyes stayed steady. He stood tall, looking directly at her. The alien girl froze. Her pride cracked. She pulled back, staring in disbelief. Her venom was in him. She had felt it flow. It should have ended him already. Her friends stepped back, their laughter dying in their throats. Whispers spread quickly. Why is he still standing? He should be dead by now. No one survives her bite. The girl's heart raced. She tried to hide her fear with anger. She hissed, "Impossible. You should be on the floor, begging for life." But the human only tilted his head slightly. His calm voice sharper than any weapon. "And yet, I'm still here." The crowd grew restless. Aliens pressed closer, their glowing eyes wide with shock. They had all heard of her deadly gift. Some had seen it, others had feared it. But none had ever imagined someone could survive it. The girl tried again. Her pride refusing to accept the truth, she struck harder, sinking her fangs deeper, pumping more venom into his body. The human did not move. His face did not twist in pain. His knees did not weaken. He only stared at her, calm and steady. Gasps filled the room. Some of her friends began to tremble. "This is wrong," one whispered. "He should be dead." Her body shook as she pulled back again, her arrogance now mixed with fear. she looked at him. Her voice trembling for the first time. "What are you?" The human's answer was simple, his voice quiet, but every alien heard it clearly. "I am human." The silence that followed was heavier than stone. The girl staggered back, her pride collapsing under the weight of what she had seen. The crowd stared in disbelief, whispers spreading like fire. No alien survives her bite, yet he stands. What kind of creature is a human? The human turned his gaze toward the crowd. His calm presence pressed into their hearts. He did not raise his voice. He did not need to. His survival spoke louder than any words could. And in that moment, the galaxy's greatest weapon, the bite, that ended countless lives, had failed. Not against an army, not against a machine, but against one man. One human. The girl fell to her knees. Her arrogance shattered for the first time. She realized that truth humans were not fragile. Humans were not prey. They were something far more dangerous. Something she had never understood until now. And as the whispers of fear and awe spread across the crowd, one truth became clear. Her bite was fatal to every species in the galaxy, but not to humanity. Rising tension, the room was no longer filled with laughter. The echo of mockery that once danced in the air had turned into whispers of disbelief. The alien girl stood frozen, her fangs still wet, her pride crushed by the calm presence of the man before her. She had bitten him not once, but twice. Each time she had poured more venom into his body. Venom that had killed warlords, beasts, and even armored soldiers. Yet the human stood as if nothing had touched him. His breathing steady, his eyes sharp. The crowd of aliens pressed closer. Their glowing eyes fixed on him, fear mixed with curiosity. Each one knew the stories of her bite. Each one had lived under the shadow of her people's deadly gift, but never in their lifetimes had they seen it fail. Why is he still alive? One voice whispered, "This is not possible." Another hissed, "He should be gone already." The alien girl's chest rose and fell quickly. Her claws trembled. For the first time in her life, doubt crawled into her heart. She stepped back from him, her arrogance faltering. "You? You cannot be real," she stammered. Her voice shook. "No one survives my venom." The human tilted his head slightly, his voice calm, his words cutting through the room like a blade. "And yet, here I am." Gasps rippled across the crowd. The simplicity of his words was heavier than any threat. He did not need to shout. He did not need to fight. His survival was the loudest declaration. The girl's friends, who had laughed moments before, now shifted uneasily. Some of them looked away, ashamed of their earlier arrogance. Others stepped back, their eyes wide with growing fear. "He stands there like nothing happened," one whispered. "It's as if he doesn't even feel it." Another added. The alien girl's pride burned inside her chest. Her people had always been feared. Their venom was their ultimate weapon. To see it fail against this human was unbearable. Her claws tightened, her voice hissed with anger and desperation. "No, no, you are lying. You are tricking us. You must have some shield. Some hidden cure." The human's gaze locked on her, calm but unyielding. "Do you truly believe that?" His voice made her tremble, because deep down, she knew the truth. There was no shield, no cure. His body had simply endured what no other could. The crowd's whispers grew louder, stronger. They were no longer whispers of disbelief, a lone nay. Were whispers of fear. If one human can survive this, what if all of them can? What kind of species are they? The alien girl shook her head violently, refusing to accept the truth. Her pride would not let her bow. "Not yet." She raised her hand, pointing at the human with trembling claws. "You think this makes you strong? You are still nothing compared to us." But even as she shouted, her voice cracked. Her people, her friends, could hear the fear beneath her words. The human did not react. He did not step back. He did not defend himself. He only stood, silent, calm. His stillness more terrifying. Then a roar. That calmness spread through the crowd like fire. For they realized something frightening. He had no need to prove himself. He had no need to argue. His very existence in that moment was proof enough. The alien girl's friends backed away, no longer supporting her, their confidence in her. Strength was gone, replaced by unease. One of them whispered, "If her venom cannot kill him, what else can he survive?" The girl's knees weakened, her pride breaking apart. She wanted to scream, to strike again, to force him down. But a quiet voice in her heart told her the truth. Nothing she did would change the outcome. Her venom was useless. Her weapon, her pride, her power worthless against him. The human finally took a step forward. His footsteps echoed softly, but the sound filled the hall like thunder. The crowd went silent instantly. He looked at her, his voice. "You believed I would fall. You believed your bite would end me. That is the problem. You believe too much in fear." The words pressed into her like iron. Her claws loosened. Her shoulders sank. The whispers grew stronger. "He is right. We have always feared the bite, but it is nothing to him, humans. They are different." The alien girl's eyes widened as she looked around. Her people no longer looked at her with admiration. They no longer looked at her as a predator. Instead, they looked at her with doubt and looked at him with something near respect. "No," she whispered to herself, "this cannot be happening." The human stepped closer still, his eyes locked on hers, calm but unrelenting. "You wanted to show your people that humans are weak," he said softly. "Instead, you showed them that truth." Her chest tightened. She had wanted to humiliate him, but now she was the one humiliated. Her arrogance had become her downfall. The crowd's whispers turned into murmurs. Spreading faster, humans are not weak. They endure. They survive what no one else can. The girl's breathing quickened. She stumbled back, pressing her back against the wall, her pride shattered fully. The human turned his gaze to the crowd. His voice rose slightly, not loud, but commanding. "You call us fragile because you see our skin tear, our bones break, but you forget we heal. We rise, we endure, and that is strength you cannot understand." The silence that followed was absolute. The aliens felt those words sink deep into their hearts. The girl's claws slipped from her covering. Her knees shook. She whispered again, "What are you?" The human looked at her, his voice final. "We are human." The words echoed in the chamber, heavier than stone. The tension filled the air, unshakable. The crowd could no longer laugh, could no longer doubt. They had seen something impossible. They had seen something impossible. That impossibility stood calm before them, and for the first time, the alien girl, once so proud, once so fearless, felt something she had never felt before: fear. The confrontation, the whispers in the chamber grew louder with every passing second. Aliens pressed closer, some too frightened to speak, others too eager to spread the story beyond these walls. The alien girl, once proud and feared, stood trembling against the wall, her claws shaking as her venom dripped uselessly to the floor. And the human, he stood in the center of it all, calm, still, silent. His presence weighed more than any weapon. His steady gaze burned into them. Not a word, not a flinch, just calm defiance. The tension grew so thick that the crowd fell back when the heavy doors creaked open. A deep hum echoed through the hall as the elders of her people entered, tall, robed in dark fabric that shimmered like scales. Their glowing eyes burned with authority. Their staffs hummed with ancient energy. Every alien present lowered their heads in respect. Every alien, except the human, the eldest elder, his face lined with centuries of pride. stepped forward. His voice thundered like stone grinding against stone. "What is this chaos?" The alien girl stumbled forward, bowing low. Her voice cracked. "Elder, forgive me. I tested the human. I bit him twice. But he still stands." A wave of gasps swept the room again. The elder froze, his glowing eyes narrowing on the calm figure in the center. His voice grew sharp. "Impossible. Our venom has ended giants. It has ended kings. No being can endure it." The crowd murmured in agreement, yet their eyes betrayed doubt. They had seen it with their own eyes. The human finally moved, only slightly. Tilting his head toward the elder, his voice was calm but carried across the chamber. "And yet, I endure." The simple words struck like thunder. The crowd shivered. Some bowed their heads lower, unable to meet his gaze. The elder tightened his grip on the staff, sparks of light crackling at its tip. His pride refused to yield. "You dare mock our gift." The human's voice was calm, steady, unbroken. "I mock nothing. I only stand. If standing is mockery to you, then your pride is weaker than you believe." Gasps erupted again. The aliens had never heard anyone speak to an elder in such a way. To insult their strength was unthinkable, yet the human spoke without fear, without hesitation. The elder's staff hummed louder. Energy coursed through it. The air grew heavy. "If words are your weapon, human, they will not save you here." The human did not blink. His voice was calm. "Nor do I need them. My strength is not in words. It is in what you cannot break." The alien girl pressed herself lower to the floor. Her heart raced as the elder raised his staff higher. She whispered, "No, he cannot." Not against them. The elder swung his staff down with a thunderous crack of energy. The force rippled through the air, shaking the ground beneath their feet. Sparks of lightning burst from the impact. The crowd cried out, shielding their eyes. The alien girl gasped in terror, but when the light faded, the human still stood, unharmed. The staff's power had struck against him. But he had not fallen. His clothes smoked faintly. His skin bore marks, but his eyes, his calm, steady eyes, looked directly into the elder's without flinching. The elder's grip shook. His voice faltered for the first time in centuries. "What are you?" The human's answer was calm, sharp, final. "I am human." The crowd erupted in cries of disbelief and awe. Some fell to their knees. Others stumbled back. Their whispers filled the chamber like a storm. No weapon works against him. He endures what none of us could. Humans. They are not weak. They are something else. The alien girl's tears burned her cheeks as she pressed her forehead against the floor. Her pride was gone. Her voice cracked. "Elder, forgive me. I brought this shame. I thought him weak. But he is not." The elder's staff lowered slowly. His eyes dimmed. His voice hollow. "Your venom failed. My power failed. What kind of creature resists all?" The human took one step forward, his voice calm but heavy, pressing into every ear. "We resist because we must. We endure because life demands it. We are not strong because we cannot be. Broken we are strong because breaking us takes more than you can give." The words sank into them like fire in dry wood. The silence that followed was deafening. Every alien in the chamber knew they had witnessed something their laws and pride could not explain. The alien girl finally lifted her head, her eyes wide with horror and awe. She whispered, "He is the storm in silence. He is the fire that refuses to die." The human turned his gaze upon her, his voice soft, yet cutting deeper than any blade. "You wanted to test me. You thought I would fall. But now you know the only thing that has fallen here is your pride." Her claws dug into the floor, her chest shook. She lowered her head again. Unable to meet his eyes, the elder council stood frozen. Unable to strike, unable to deny. There, pride was cracking, and the crowd no longer looked at the human with laughter or doubt. They looked with fear, with awe, with respect, for in one night, a human had endured their deadliest weapon, their strongest power, and had not broken, and in his calm silence, he had conquered them all. The reveal the elder staff still smoked faintly from the strike. The crackling energy that should have reduced the human to ash had faded into silence. The crowd stared in wide-eyed shock, their glowing eyes fixed on the figure who still stood. Tall in the center of the chamber, the human's breathing was steady, his gaze sharp, his silence louder than thunder. The alien girl's claws shook against the floor. Her mind could not accept what she had just seen. She had always believed her bite was death itself. And yet it had failed. The elder staff, a weapon of ancient power, had also failed. She could not understand. The eldest counselor stepped back, his eyes dimming, his voice broke with disbelief. How? How can this be? No creature should withstand our venom or our power. The human turned his gaze upon him, his voice calm, slow, carrying weight like iron. You think strength is in poison, in weapons, in fear, but strength is not what kills it, is what survives. The words pressed into the hall like heavy chains. The crowd murmured, some bowing their heads, others clutching their chests as if struck by truth itself. The alien girl raised her head slightly, her voice weak. Then tell us, human, what makes your kind endure? What keeps you standing when all others fall? The human paused. His silence drew every ear closer. He finally spoke, his words clear, because pain is our oldest teacher, and survival is our oldest law. The crowd stiffened, waiting. The human continued. On my world, Earth, everything tries to kill us. The storms tear our homes apart. The seas rise and swallow the land. The ground shakes and burns. Creatures hunt us. Disease weakens us. Even each other we fight. We destroy. We rebuild. We are broken 1,000 times. And each time we rise again, the aliens shifted uncomfortably. Their glowing eyes widened as images of such a world filled their imagination. The human's voice carried on, steady, unshakable. Your venom is strong. Yes, but on Earth, there are poisons far deadlier. Snakes, insects, plants, all carrying death in their veins. And yet we learn to live beside them. We learn to endure their sting. We learn to survive their bite. We learn to make antidotes, to build resistance, to adapt. The alien girl's lips trembled. Her people had always thought their venom unmatched, unchallenged. Yet this human spoke of a world filled with poisons, and his kind had endured them all. He stepped forward slowly, his presence pushing into every heart. You believe your staff's energy is power. But on Earth, the sky itself hurls fire, lightning that splits mountains, winds that tear cities apart, and still we stand, still we endure, still we rebuild. The elder counselors exchanged uneasy glances. Their staffs trembled in their hands. For the first time in centuries, they felt small. Their great power was nothing compared to what this man described. The human's eyes scanned the crowd, his voice calm. You mistake comfort for strength. You believe fear makes you powerful, but true power comes only from suffering, only from rising again when the world has broken you. And that is what humans are. The whispers turned into murmurs. Aliens nodded slowly, some with fear, some with awe. The alien girl pressed her claws against the floor, her pride shattered, her eyes wet with regret. She whispered, I thought you weak. But I was blind. The human's gaze lingered on her, his voice sharp but not cruel. You thought us fragile because you see our skin tear. Our bones break, but you do not understand we heal. We adapt. We endure. The chamber fell silent. Again, Every alien felt the truth pressing into them. The eldest elder, who had once stood unshakable, lowered his staff, his voice heavy. "Your kind. You are dangerous, not because of your weapons, not because of your size, but because you cannot be broken." The human nodded slightly. "Exactly. You can poison us, burn us, starve us, but still, we rise. That is why your venom failed. That is why your laws cannot bind me. That is why your fear means nothing." The words carried like fire through dry grass. The aliens shifted, the weight of realization pressing into them. The alien girl lowered her face to the floor. Her voice cracked. "With shame, I mocked you. I challenged you, and I was wrong. Forgive me, human. For I did not know what you truly were." The crowd murmured louder. Fear turned to respect. They could no longer deny the truth. They had seen it with their own eyes. The human stood tall, silent, letting their awe grow. His very presence was a storm, calm on the surface, but unstoppable. Beneath, he finally spoke again, his voice heavy with finality. "You wanted to know what makes us strong. Now you know humans endure what others cannot. And that is why we survive. That is why we will always survive." The crowd bowed their heads. The alien girl sobbed quietly into her hands. The elder said nothing. Their silence was their surrender. And in that silence, the legend of humanity grew, a legend that would spread beyond this chamber, beyond this city, beyond this world. For tonight, they had all learned the truth. Her bite was fatal to all species, but humanity endured. The realization, the silence in the chamber was unbearable. No one dared to speak. No one dared to move. It was as if the air itself had turned heavy, pressing down on every alien heart. The alien girl remained on her knees, her claws pressed against the cold floor. Her chest trembled as she fought for breath. Her venom had failed. Her pride had shattered. And the truth she had tried to deny now burned inside her like fire. Her people, the ones who had always looked at her with admiration and fear, no longer looked at her at all. Their eyes were fixed on the human who stood tall and calm in the center. His silence was louder than her cries, his stillness heavier than the staff of any elder. The elders themselves lowered their staffs. The glow in their eyes had dimmed, their ancient authority cracked in a single night. They had ruled by fear, by tradition, by venom and power. And yet all of that had failed against one human. The eldest elder's voice finally broke the silence. His tone was no longer thunder, it was weak, tired, defeated. "We thought ourselves the strongest. We thought our venom was unmatched. But tonight, we have seen a truth we cannot deny." The crowd murmured. Their voices carried fear and awe. "Nothing survives her bite. Nothing, except him. If venom cannot kill humans, what else can they survive?" The alien girl's claws scraped against the stone. She forced herself to lift her head. Her glowing eyes filled with tears. "I mocked him. I thought him weak. I thought him fragile. But I was blind." Her voice cracked. "I am the one who is weak. I am the fool." She bowed low again, pressing her forehead to the floor for the first time in her life. She begged, "Forgive me, human. I insulted you. I tried to break you. But you stood when I could not." The human's gaze shifted to her, his expression calm. His silence stretched long enough to make every alien in the hall tremble. Finally, his voice came, soft but firm. "I do not need your apology. I need your understanding." The words cut deeper than venom. The girl's heart pounded. She understood. Now that humans did not seek submission, they sought recognition, respect, truth. The human's voice carried further, sweeping across the crowd. "Your power comes from fear. Your strength is built on what others cannot endure. But when fear fails, when venom fails, when power fails, what remains of you?" The aliens bowed their heads. His question was not only for her, it was for all of them. None could answer, none could lift their eyes. The human stepped forward slowly, his presence pressing into them. We humans are not unbreakable, our bodies tear, our bones break, our lives are short, but that is why we are strong, because we rise again, because we heal, because no matter what strikes us down, we refuse to stay down. The alien girl's breath shook. The truth pressed against her chest like a weight she could not bear. She had always believed strength was dominance. She now realized strength was survival. The elders exchanged uneasy glances. Their silence was shame. The council had no answer. No defense, their laws, their pride, their legends all were hollow now. One of the younger aliens in the crowd whispered, "If one human can survive this, what will happen when many stand together?" The murmur spread quickly. A single human has broken our pride. What would an army do? The girl shivered at the thought, her pride replaced by dread. She had believed humans were weak prey, but now she saw them for what they truly were: storms. Hidden in silence, the eldest elder lowered his head, his staff touching the floor, his voice a whisper of defeat. "We were wrong. We judged too quickly. We underestimated the humans." The human's calm eyes met his voice sharp. And underestimation is always the first step to downfall. The words echoed through the chamber. Every alien felt the sting. They had thought themselves untouchable. They had mocked the human, and now they bowed their heads in shame. The alien girl sobbed quietly, her tears dripping onto the cold stone. She whispered again, "I have nothing left. My pride is gone. My strength is worthless." The human's gaze lingered on her. His voice steady. "You are not worthless, but you must learn. Strength is not in the power to destroy. Strength is in the will to endure. That is what you lacked. That is why you fell. That is why I stand." The girl's chest tightened. She pressed her forehead lower to the floor, her heart filled with regret. She finally understood the truth. She had been blind to her whole life. The crowd remained silent, their eyes wide with awe and fear. The human's words had become truth, undeniable and unshakable, and as the silence stretched, the realization grew heavier. Tonight was not just a humiliation for one alien girl. Tonight was the fall of an entire belief. Tonight was the rise of a legend. Her bite was fatal to all species, but not to humanity. The chamber would remember this night forever. The crowd would spread the story like fire. The elders would hide their shame behind silence. And the alien girl would never again hold her head with pride, for she had tested a human, and in that test, she had revealed the truth to the galaxy. Humans endure, humans survive, humans rise. And nothing, not venom, not weapons, not fear, could take that away. Human superiority. The chamber was heavy with silence. The air seemed to vibrate with the weight of what they had witnessed. The alien girl knelt trembling, her venom dripping uselessly. The elders stood stiff, their staffs lowered. And the crowd dared not breathe too loudly. At the center of it all, the human stood calm, steady. His presence filled the hall without force. His strength came not from weapons or power, but from the fact that nothing could shake him. Finally, the eldest elder broke the silence, his voice weak, his pride fractured, human. "If venom cannot kill you, if our power cannot break you, then what are you? What makes your kind endure such things when no other can?" The human turned his steady gaze on the elder, his voice calm but most calm, but heavy. "Do you truly wish to know?" The elder hesitated, his glowing eyes dimmed. And then he nodded slowly. "We must know, for the galaxy will ask, and we will have no answer." The human's eyes swept across the crowd. He spoke not with anger, not with pride, but with truth. "You believe my endurance is unusual. You believe I am different, but you are wrong. This is not my strength alone. This is humanity." The whispers rippled like fire in the crowd. Some pressed closer to hear. Others shivered. The human continued, his words steady. "You live in fear of venom because you have never faced worse. You live in fear of pain because you have never been forced to endure it. But humans? We were born in pain, raised in suffering, shaped by a world that wanted us dead from the moment we took our first breath." The alien girl raised her tearful eyes slightly. Her chest trembled. She whispered, "Your world. What kind of place could make you like this?" The human's gaze darkened with memory. "Earth, it is not kind, it is not gentle. It is storms that rip apart our homes, floods that drown our cities, fires that consume forests, and quakes that split the ground. It is creatures with fangs, claws, and venom of their own. It is hunger, sickness, and war. It is death waiting at every corner." Gasps spread through the chamber. Aliens shook their heads in disbelief. The human's voice pressed on. "From the beginning, we were prey, weaker than the beasts around us. But we learned to fight with fire, with stone, with steel. We built homes where storms could not tear us down. We made cures where sickness tried to end us. We stood again when wars burned everything we had. That is what makes us human. That is why I stand here now." The elder's staff trembled in his grip. His glowing eyes flickered. "Your world. It should have destroyed you." The human's gaze locked onto him. "It tried. It still tries, but it failed. Because we do not break, we endure. And that is what makes us strong." The alien girl's claws dug into the floor. Her pride gone, her heart pounding. She whispered, "Then? Your strength is not in poison, not in power, but in survival." The human nodded. "Exactly. You think strength is what you use to crush others. But true strength is what keeps you alive when everything wants you dead. That is what humanity is." The crowd trembled. Their fear turned into awe. The murmurs rose again. They endure storms, poisons, and fire. They survived what would have ended us all. This is why venom cannot kill them. The human took one slow step forward. His calm voice filled the room. "Your venom is nothing compared to Earth. Your staff's power is nothing compared to the sky's lightning. Your fear is nothing compared to what we have faced every day of our existence. We are not the strongest. We are not the fastest. But we are the ones who rise again. And that is why no galaxy will ever see the end of humanity." The elder counselors lowered their heads, shame painted across their faces. The alien girl sobbed quietly, tears dripping onto the floor. She whispered, "I thought myself strong. But I have never endured anything. I only relied on fear." The human's gaze lingered on her. His voice softened. "You were not wrong to believe in your strength. But strength without suffering is an illusion, and illusions shattered the first time they are tested." The girl's claws trembled. Her pride collapsed completely. "Then I am nothing," she whispered. The human shook his head slowly. "No, you are not nothing. But now you know the truth. Strength is not in the bite that kills, but in the will that survives." The silence that followed was thick. The truth sank into every heart. The human's eyes swept across the crowd once more. His voice final, unyielding. "We are human. And that means no matter what you throw at us, venom, fire, war, we will endure. And when the galaxy itself falls, when stars burn out, when everything you know is gone, humanity will still be there, standing." The chamber erupted in whispers. Some aliens bowed low. Some pressed their hands to their chests. Some wept in silence. The legend had already begun to spread, carried by every pair of trembling lips. The alien girl pressed her forehead to the ground, her pride broken forever. The elders lowered their staffs in surrender, and the crowd knew they had witnessed not the fall of humanity, but the rise of a truth the galaxy could never again deny. Her bite was fatal to all species, but humanity endured.